We're testing rates of dissolution. Essentially, what can we adjust to make a solute dissolve faster in a solvent? In the case of this experiment, our solute is going to be our sugar, and I'm going to put 1 tablespoon in each glass. So you can see they have the same amount, so constant for mass and volume, I suppose. And we need a little bit of water. Now again, constant, the temperature of this water isn't going to change, and I'm going to put the same amount, which is roughly half a cup, if I can do this correctly. All right, here and here. Now, they're a little off. The difference, or our variable, is going to be agitation. Agitation is just a fancy way of saying you're going to mix it up or stir it. So I'm going to use my spoon and I'm going to stir it. I'm going to stir this one. Now, as I stir, which one of these 2 glasses do you think the sugar will dissolve in first? And why? Stir, 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 stir. Please don't fall over. Let's see what's happening. All right, let's take another look at these. So, as you can see, we have the same glasses, right, with roughly the same amount of water, same temperature, same amount of sugar. You can kind of still see the sugar spinning around in that one that I stirred, but if you look closely, there is still a mound of sugar at the bottom of this glass, and hardly any sugar granules are still visible in this one. So for rates of dissolution, remember that stirring will increase the speed. Okay, second experiment. This is still on factors that affect rates of dissolution. This time our variable is going to be temperature. Okay, the first one we did was agitation, this one's temperature. I just made some iced tea, delicious orange spice tea. So I put the same amount in both cups, half a cup. But this time to one, I'm going to add ice, okay? So it truly is iced tea. Again, I've got same amount of tea. This time I just added water to it, or sorry, ice to it to change the temperature. I'm gonna give this a little stir so that we know it is nice and cool throughout, right? That cold temperature is gonna disperse out into the tea. Now, I'm gonna add sugar again, guys. I'm gonna add the same amount. So 1 tablespoon for each cup. 1 tablespoon, 1 tablespoon. This time, I am gonna stir both glasses, okay? And we're gonna try and see which one the sugar dissolves in first. I'm sure y'all already have a guess and you already know this. But here we go. Stir, stir, stir. A little bit more. I'm gonna stop there. Now, let's look at our cups again, okay? So this is our iced tea. And as you can see, there is still a mound of sugar down there. And then if we come over to our hot tea that I had yet to add ice to, you guys can see that the sugar is already dissolved. So now would be the time to add ice to this one, and you would have a delicious glass of sweet tea. So remember, if you increase the temperature, then the solute will dissolve faster in the solvent. For our last experiment on factors that affect rates of dissolution, we are going to test surface area. Basically, surface area, guys, is like particle size. So saying you have smaller pieces as opposed to bigger pieces, because they have more surface area, your solvent can touch more of them. So we're going to use my bouillon. We're going to use caldo con sabor de pollo. And basically, I took one of those little blocks and I cut it in half, and then 1/2 I chopped up into teeny tiny little pieces. Now, our 2 constants for this experiment is going to be temperature, because we're using boiling water for both, and agitation. I'm going to stir both, okay? So let's put the camera up. Here we go. And I'm going to drop 1 cube in there. And then I'm going to put my chunked up pieces in there. Now again, I'm going to try and add 1/2 cup to each if I can get it done. A little bit more. And put it in there. And now I'm going to stir. Which one do you think is going to dissolve faster? The big piece or the little pieces? So here we go. I'm stirring as best I can with 2 hands at once. Broth. My left hand does not stir very well. Okay, I feel like that's good enough. Let's take a look. First, let's look at the one we put the big piece in. And as you can see, there are still big pieces floating around down there. At the bottom, settled out at the bottom. Now let's look over at the one I put in the small pieces. Again, let me back up a little bit. I'm not sure that I fully dissolved the whole thing, but there's a little bit less. So let's stir again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Give it another look. And as you can see, this one is slightly more dissolved than the one with the big piece in it. So remember, the smaller the particle size or the more surface area it has, the faster it will dissolve in the solvent.